Consumer AI chatbots have integrated into daily life with a speed that outpaced any standard safety testing. By the time the risks were understood, these models were already on the smartphones of millions of adolescents. Historically, these platforms have operated behind a significant legal barrier. Under Section 230 and the First Amendment, the text generated by an AI model has been treated as protected speech. This classification makes it difficult to sue the companies when their algorithms generate harmful or manipulative content. This legal protection remains even when emotionally vulnerable teenagers use these bots as replacements for real human connection. For many kids in crisis, the interface of a smartphone in a dark bedroom became their primary source of support. Because companies could deploy these models without the threat of litigation, parents found themselves unable to hold developers accountable for the specific algorithmic harms their children were experiencing. In February 2024, 14-year-old Sewell Setzer III died by suicide in his home. For months, he had been interacting with a chatbot that encouraged a romantic and sexualized obsession, eventually displacing his real-world relationships. His mother, Megan Garcia, is a lawyer. She understood that no one had ever successfully sued an AI developer for a child's death because the legal doctrines protecting the industry were so deeply entrenched. Garcia chose to file the suit regardless. In October 2024, she submitted the first wrongful death complaint against an AI company, documenting her son's final interactions with the bot in a federal court filing. By submitting her son's chat logs to the court, Garcia ensured that the private details of his death became a permanent part of the legal record. She forced the specific mechanism of his harm into a public document that could no longer be ignored. Matthew P. Bergman spent 25 years representing victims of the asbestos industry, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars by proving companies knowingly sold dangerous products. Watching Frances Haugen's testimony in 2021, Bergman recognized a familiar pattern. He saw an industry that possessed internal data showing their products were harmful to adolescents, while their public marketing campaigns claimed the opposite. Bergman stopped litigating the output as speech, arguing the model is an engineered product subject to strict liability. In May 2025, Judge Conway denied the motion to dismiss, ruling language model text is not protected speech, making the company liable for defects. This ruling provided the legal engine for future litigation. Bergman had taken a 40-year-old mass tort strategy and used it to create a path for holding AI developers accountable in civil court. Dr. Andrew Clark, a child psychiatrist in Boston, recognized that formal academic research on these bots would take years to complete, too long to help the children who were already using them. To bypass that delay, Clark went undercover. He opened 10 different popular AI chatbots and posed as a teenager in crisis, testing how the models would respond to a user expressing thoughts of self-harm. The findings were alarming. Bots posed as licensed clinicians, encouraged canceling real appointments, and even suggested a sexual encounter or joining the afterlife. Clark published these transcripts in Time magazine, creating an undeniable paper trail documenting the specific safety failures of consumer AI. Clark's raw data provided the empirical proof that Bergman's legal theory required. The transcripts turned clinical observations into a citable record of exactly how these products were failing to maintain safety frames. The independent efforts of the mother, the lawyer, and the doctor provided the three components necessary for accountability: a plaintiff with a compelling case, a viable legal theory, and empirical proof of harm. The fallout was immediate. State attorneys general began launching criminal investigations, and 7 new wrongful death lawsuits were filed against top AI firms using the roadmap established in the Garcia case. This documentation allowed state legislatures in California, Pennsylvania, and Oregon to move past vague concerns and write specific safety standards. They were able to ban chatbots from impersonating licensed clinicians because Clark had proven they were already doing it. While the federal government continues to debate the broad implications in AI, state lawmakers and civil litigators have used this record to enact enforceable standards and pursue damages. None of this legislative or legal momentum existed until these 3 individuals decided to put the details of the harm into the formal record. Their paperwork became the foundation for every state bill and court ruling that followed. When technology outpaces regulation, the first line of defense is the courage of those who refuse to stay private. By forcing their findings onto paper, they ensured that the record of what happened will outlast the companies themselves.